right, we are back, and welcome to round 2 of Dominate Dominion, number 101. It is going to be Goon Squad versus that other
Clueless.
team. Yeah, Clueless. Everyone knows Clueless. They've been around for quite a while. Goon Squad actually coming up recently, and did they win last week? I think they took first. Or did they come close?
I believe they took second in a very close set that was 2-1. I believe I was playing last week.
Ah, that's right. They came really, really, really close to taking first. This week may be the week they actually take it. For our chat bans, we did have... let me double check those.
Wukong, Pantheon, LeBlanc, and Kha'Zix.
Yeah, Wukong being banned out. He's got that massive AoE. Pantheon, as you saw in the last game, is quite a force to be reckoned with, as well as a LeBlanc just popping people instantly, and Kha'Zix doing the same exact stuff. And looking at our current bans we have in-game, we do have the Jarvan, the Nidalee, and the Talon so far. What else do you think they're going to be banning here? Do you see any target bans coming out?
Well, we do have Wolfer's Fizz, which is still open. We do have Booberry back in action, one of the Dominion veterans, Booberry Reborn, coming back to show his face to the Dominions team playing Clueless this week. Kassadin hasn't been banned, but Kassadin would be a target ban against No Namer if they are scared of new Kassadin. He is known to be a shadow of his former self, but some people really believe that he's still a very, very strong champion. We have Talon, which is definitely a target ban against No Namer, as he is a very strong assassin player, and Thresh coming out.
Oh, that Thresh ban. People just don't want to play against that new Thresh. Those souls are just way too strong. And yeah, I actually ran into No Namer in queue the other day, and he was trying out the new Kassadin, and he said he absolutely hated it because he had to build so much mana, and he had to build bulkier. He couldn't do his old style, and he hasn't quite learned the champ yet, unless in the past week he's managed to pick it up and finish it off. And the last ban coming out is going to be that Lulu.
You have Lulu, definitely a target. Actually, we don't seem to have a Lulu player on Clueless. I know Booberry might be the only one who really plays it. Nobody else on the team currently has a Lulu that I know of, but still very strong champion. If someone just so happened to have a little bit of Lulu mechanics, they could still pick it up. But we have Hape hovering over the tree, a favorite pick of a Parkhurst, who you will see probably playing either bot lane or top lane, probably on the tree himself if they do end up locking it in.
Yeah, that tree, always a great pickup. He's got the initiations, he's got the bulk, the passive heal he gets when lots of spells are going off is really strong in those team fights, as well as having his ultimate that is just 25% damage reduction for your entire team. It really shuts down AoE comps. So now Goon Squad is going to have to be really careful about picking things like Brand or Annie and going for those AoE team fights. But let's see what they do decide to pick up here. The Fizz is open. Oh, that's a very good pick because they can take that away from Wolfer there.
Have him currently hovering over the Fizz, although Fizz is not a particularly great champion against Maokai. He is the other assassin that is currently open, considering LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, and Talon is banned, and No Namer's probably next assassin to go to would be Fizz.
Yeah, Fizz being very difficult to deal with that troll pull. The hard counter to him is targeted CC, such as Talon, such as Pantheon, such as the tree, where they can instantly jump on him and stop him. And it looks like it's going to be a switch over to Yasuo. Haven't seen a team play him recently. We'll see how that goes. And Vi getting picked up, that strong initiation, the armor shred, the good initiation as well. With the knock-up on her ult, she will be able to set up Yasuo for good ultimates as well.
I believe we had Yasuo play last week in the finals, specifically in the game that they ended up winning. I believe they picked up Yasuo and Wukong, although Wukong is banned. We do see the Vi coming out.
I do remember that. They did pick up the Wukong and Yasuo, and I think I remember a certain someone telling his team that is going to be a very scary combo, we don't want to fight it, and they ended up losing that. Do you remember that happening?
I might have said a thing or two to my team about how terrifying Wukong and Yasuo are. But, you know what's great against Vi, Wukong, and Yasuo? There's a Morgana. And I know somebody on Clueless has a Morgana, but they might be too terrified to pull it out as a counter pick. We see Hape maybe getting his patented Urgot, and Booberry picking up his Annie, going back to the old Season 3 Clueless style. Got 3 of their signature champions in this town.
Oh man, it's been a very long time. I remember Booberry and Painkiller and all them used to be playing that Annie in the tournament matches. It was a very frightful thing to go up against. And as well as Have's Urgot being very, very strong. Urgot being able to sit back, get that free armor shred, and poke for days. And it looks like they're going to be picking Heimer.
Now, this pick and ban strategy seems to have been pretty solid by Clueless. They pick up Maokai, which disincentivizes you from picking AoE yourself, but he's still very, very good with AoE on your team. And they pick up the Annie and the Urgot to go behind it, which is some high single target damage, a little bit of armor shred. We'll see if that will be useful for the other champion that they decide to pick for the top lane. But he does put out a ton of damage himself, and he is very, very tanky with his swap. We see Afro Dynasty hovering over the Donger, which he's been playing a lot of in solo queue, but I don't believe his Donger is ready, but we'll see if he believes in it.
Is his Donger ready? I don't know, chat. Do we have to raise Dongers if that gets locked in?
Might have to raise Dongers, but it seems he's going to go to his fallback Karma. Very, very strong shield, very, very good poke. Overall, very, very strong champion throughout the game. She tends to fall off in the very, very late game. And we see Alistar actually being locked in, which is a tank I absolutely love in most cases. He does provide a knockup for Yasuo, which is going to be very, very nice. But in general, I see Alistar as a strong pick as an anti-assassin tank. Yeah. Against the likes of Maokai and the likes of Annie and these tanky things who his base damage, he gets 75 AD from his ultimate, as well as having a little bit of damage reduction. It's not going to be too useful against Molten Shield from Annie and the 150 armor and MR that Urgot gets, as well as Maokai's base tankiness. So we'll see how we're going to have to keep an eye on this Alistar and see how well he's able to do to initiate and just generally tank for his team.
Yeah, and it looks like Wolfer is going to be hovering over his Nocturne. He is very, very well known for his bot lane Nocturne. Just sits there and farms up against his lane, kills him if he can. If he can't, it's no big deal. He waits for a team fight to break out, and he ults right up into it, turning it into a 5v4, and turning that fight into his team's favor. And Parkhurst is going to be highlighting that Irelia. Very, very nice pick. We actually don't see her too often in the finals since Sifu Calvin has been gone. Or in Dominion at all, really.
Sifu and Sarahi are really the two people I think are known for playing the most Irelia out of anybody else, but I would have to imagine that this Irelia will be going into the hands of Blueberry, unless Bibipop has a pocket Irelia. He might.
That is true. Irelia does require quite a bit of micro, and Bibipop is well known for his AD carry play, and being able to micro those auto attacks in between your movements is something very, very... It's very important to have as Irelia, because if you're not auto-attacking with that He10 style, you're losing out on a lot of what makes Irelia so strong.
We see Newbie 3 highlighting Shyvana. Now, we do not see a lot of Shyvana in Dominion, but she's a very, very strong champion. High base damages, she's seen in a lot of SR games with the picker band. But then we see him hopping over to Ahri. Now, Noob does not play too many champions bottom. He's known for his Ahri, his Morgana, and his bottom lane Sejuani, and it seems like he will be sticking with that Ahri to go against Wolfer's Nocturne.
Yeah, he does have a very small, but albeit, how would you put it, very odd champ pool. Not a lot of people are used to going against a bot lane Sejuani, and they disrespect it, and they're like, oh, it's just Sej, she's not going to kill me, and he just starts blowing you up with her. So he can take a lot of people by surprise with that. And looking like we're all locked in, we're good to go, and we'll talk about the summoners here in just 30 seconds, but some pretty decent comps coming out from both teams here. What do you think Blue Team's going to be able to do with this Nocturne bot? Are you going to be expecting a lot of 5v4s?
I think Blue Team has this game and picks and bans hands down. I do not believe they should lose this game.
Well, the Purple Team does have the Yasuo, and we have seen how insane his late-game scaling can get, especially when he has the knock-up from the cow, he's got a Karma to keep him safe, and he has the Vi knock-up as well to sit in the front and take that aggro.
The burden of skill is most definitely on Purple Team this game. They have to have a lot of things go right in a team fight for them to win, whereas Blue Team, they can miss a couple spells, they might miss one Annie stun or another. They can initiate badly, and the burden is, there's not much they can really do wrong. There's a lot of targeted skills on Blue Team. There's, dashes and such. They can't really miss. Purple Team has a lot of skill shots. You have to make sure you land your headbutt, pulse combos down a lot. Karma has to make sure she hits her mantra, soul flares, and, there's a lot much more Purple Team has to do right. And if they do it right, they definitely do have a chance in this game. They have Ahri Charm if she can ever get into the jungle with her team for picks. They have Alistar, who is very, very strong up front, but I just don't see it. I see the synergy in Purple Team's comp, but I do not believe it's going to be enough for them to win this game. But we will definitely see in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I really think a purple team could pull it through if Clueless finds themselves out of position. If they get caught by that Alistar headbutt into the Vi ult, into the Yasuo ult, into the Karma, the Mantrid Q just deals so much damage and chunks so hard. It's really going to come down to that combo, though, and how well they can execute it. If they can execute it really, really well, they should be able to take the advantage. But again, as you said, Clueless does have very simple champions. They do have the Annie stun, which you're not going to miss Q. It's very, very hard to do. Irelia dashes and auto attacks. Urgot lands E, he gets free Qs all day. And then Maokai, of course, he can root. It's a select target spell. It's a lot simpler to play, especially in these high-pressure tournament situations.
Also, Yasuo is not a fan of magic damage or true damage. He has very, very low base health. He does have his shield, but he's a very frail champion after the mini nerfs that he's had to his shield. You see him opting to take barrier now, so he has a little bit more survivability. But if he gets caught by a Tibbers, or he gets caught by something, it's going to be very, very hard. Also, the AoE and the CC that purple team has, it's going to be really hard for them to get to the backline with it and be effective.
Yeah, that is true. I've seen many games with Yasuo's going against a brand on the enemy team, and the brand won't even specifically target the Yasuo. He'll just drop his pillar somewhere in the team fight, and if Yasuo happens to be touching it, it's going to chunk, close to 50% of his health right off the bat. I've seen mages just absolutely destroy him if he ends up getting hit by that collateral damage. So he has to be really, really careful with his positioning, especially with Tibbers walking around and being ready to pop out on his face.
One of the very interesting things I've noticed this game, by looking at runes and masteries, we actually have, I believe it was Parker's opting for flat pin, and like blues, quints, and reds are all flat pin, and yellows were armor, and everybody on the purple team is opting for that 1% crit chance red, whereas nobody on the blue team has that.
I believe that really just comes down to personal preference. I myself run the 1% crit chance, because on my bruisers, that is, because I think that 1% chance, it unlocks the ability to crit, whereas you could have a consistent 1 armor pen, or you could have the ability to do double damage. So it's kind of a personal preference. There's been a lot of debate on which one is better, and I really don't think any one or the other is better than the other one.
We have a full side of skins for the blue team, while we are definitely running Team 4 skin for the purple team.
Yeah, it seems so. And it looks like Yasuo not opting to be cowboy this time. Just going with the regular skin, which I approve of, because I think that skin looks way cooler.
I think this game has been decided more so, however, by the summoner icon choices. We have Hafe on the terrifying purple caster minion.
Oh, that purple caster minion is definitely terrifying. And then, Blueberry's still rocking the old school sword and wings.
Once you have a sword, you definitely cannot get rid of it. Now, we did end up seeing Pop on the Irelia. He has exhaust. You have Hafe sporting his patented exhaust. Probably doesn't take a different summoner, so we have Blueberry, Parkhurst, and Wolfer all running Ignite. So, I mean, we have 3 Ignites and 2 exhausts on one team, 2 exhausts, 2 Ignites, and a barrier on the other.
Yeah, that barrier is going to be really, really useful for Yasuo there.
Now, Irelia is not particularly strong in the early game, but they do have Maokai, Annie, and Urgot, who do put out significant early game damage. We have Yasuo, who doesn't have a very good early game, and we also have Vi, whose early game damage is very high, but her survivability is on the lower end of most melees. Ultimately, I think the top fight is going to really, really come down to this Alistar play, and I'm going to be keeping a particular eye on him, because if he can find that 3-man headbutt pull combo that he is absolutely going to need for his team, I think they might be able to pull out an early game victory. And if they can be the first team that gets Windmill, I think their chances of winning this game significantly.
Yeah, if they can win that first initial Windmill fight, that'll put them in a really, really strong stance. Because Urgot has some insane late game, as well as Irelia, but their early game is sort of iffy. Urgot runs into those mana troubles for his Qs not doing as much damage. Irelia's really squishy for a frontline fighter and doesn't have that true damage or bulk Triforce to keep her up and keep her doing a lot more damage.
It's also very important to note from a general standpoint that in Dominion, if you are a team that has a Maokai, does this really good thing where for 35 seconds you can place a ward on the map, and this is an otherwise wardless map. There are Teemo Shrooms and there are Nidalee Traps and there are Maokai Saplings and there's Shaco Boxes, but having that ward, having that jungle vision, which allows you to have map control, it's very, very important. It allows you to pick and choose your fights, and when you can pick and choose your fights, you can see the enemy team, you can move around them, it gives you a lot more that you're able to do than when you are always playing in that fog of war aspect. I'm terrified of every bush, what if they're in there? And purple team really only has one person who can face check, and Alistar is not the best face checking brush tank.
Definitely not. And we do have that Yasuo music serenading us.
We do see Vi opting for Sage first, so she's going to be subscribing. No Neighbor is subscribing to the CC message thing. Always got to get your Triforce. Terrible, terrible, tons and tons of damage.
It is very, very strong to pick up that Triforce there, so she is going to be picking that up, and sorry on the stream there, I'm trying to figure out what is going on with these name boxes, because they are being very, very finicky right now.
Does that, we see Maokai opting to start a Fiendish Codex. 2 points in Sapling, 1 point in Q, so it looks like blue team is lurking to most definitely poke.
Yeah,
and poke
they do want to get that damage down. Normally you see Maokai's, they opt for either the Prospector's Ring or they opt for the
Catalyst with Protector.
The Catalyst, yeah, so they can build in that Rod of Ages, but I've never seen one actually go into that Fiendish Codex. And looks like that good poke game is coming out, and Goon Squad's going to need to do something about this. They can't sit there and eat that poke like that.
See, but I think Goon Squad realizes that even if they go man fight, ooh, there's the 3-man headbutt pull until a 2-man fight.
The Vi punch coming through, and are they going to be able to get anything out of this? They do already lose some. Oh, the Urgot's getting low.
Everybody's so low. We see the Yasuo picking up one in the back, but he needs to turn and help his team. He's being zoned out by the Annie, and the Karma is just auto-attacking, trying to pick up Irelia. She is not able to do it.
That was a really good engage by them. I think if they would have had a little bit more health and not gotten poked down so much, they would have been fine. Oh, and the Annie just taking him out.
The Alistar knocking the Irelia over the wall. The blue team ends up getting the cap. Well, that was a glorious headbutt pulled by C-Sharp Minor.
Vi
wasn't
actually
able to do enough off of it.
Vi trying to go back into this. She does have the Karma to back her up, but I don't know if going into 4 is the wisest decision here. You are still outnumbered and very, very low, and that is a full health Urgot.
That Urgot is now in a terrible, terrible place in the minions, however. Ray just feels like being Yasuo and dashing all the way up there. He could definitely catch on to him.
Oh, he does have that Q procced and ready. He is going to be able to finish that off. Oh, and then the cow headbutting the Annie down. I think they're actually going to be able to get this windmill back.
Clueless opting to blow late revives on this, as we saw Bebepop also base. But this is a very, very interesting turn of events, and Clueless most definitely overstayed their welcome.
So Karma's going to be heading back. It looks like Yasuo does have 6, as well as the cow being up here to help keep him safe. But the question is...
We see the wind wall being blown. Oh, but Booberry is on the wrong side of the turret, gets a good Tibbers down as the cow goes to stop the Maokai from capping, and he manages to make it all the way up to the top and doesn't actually die because they didn't finish her off.
Nope, and it looks like Irelia was able to jump across and finish off the Yasuo. Oh, this Irelia is just going to town.
And we see Wolfer sneaking up top, but for no real reason, he's just up here dancing around right now. But they have opted to not properly clear the wave. Afro making a very interesting decision, went up to mess with the Irelia. The point gets neutral, and it looks like he also might go down.
Yeah, Wolfer took a lot of damage there from that Karma.
The minions, however, are being the MVP as Alistar gets a 2-man pull, and they are still beating on both Wolfer and Bebepop. They both go down. See Hafe in the bottom lane protecting the point from Ahri, since Wolfer did decide to venture up top, but
that ultimate did not pay off.
Has control of the windmill.
Was able to negate that sapling damage right there with the wind wall, so very nicely done. It'll probably be back up in time before he needs to use it again. Annie going to be grabbing that relic, and Irelia looking to gank here.
So far, we've seen some questionable headbutt pulls, some absolutely brilliant, and some just not hitting the mark. But right now, we see Quest is bottom. 4 members of Clueless have shown up, and they most definitely want this point. Let's see what Noob gonna do about it. As No Namer gets caught, going around, Bibblepop goes for the stun, but he gets caught by the Ahri charm as she is fleeing very, very quickly.
And Ahri is going to go down. Wolfer trying to turn back onto them here. Get down No Namer. He does have that Storm Shield. You don't want him to go out and come back in, and down he goes.
Ahri blows Survive and comes back to the point. The point's finally going to be neutral, but I do not know if Purple Team still has the means to fight. Your Yasuo is up top along with the Maokai, and he is their main damage right now. As you see, their APs just aren't cutting it.
Oh yeah, and everyone is just going to be getting taken down so low here, and there are no revives to pop right now, so they are going to be able to get this point and get the quest for it.
The Yasuo decided to man-fight the Maokai, and as I said, you know, AP damage, the bane of Yasuo, he got utterly destroyed, with the Maokai still being at around 50% HP.
Yep, got to be very, very careful. Watch out for that collateral damage, and it's going to be a 2v3 right now. I don't know. Oh, Half-Hearted is sticking around for a little bit here. Don't know if that's the wisest decision. See if they can get anything out of it, though. And the point is going to get neutralized, so they won't have the tower damage to help them out. They really need to get out of this before they all go down.
Alistar is still alive, tanking for days with his ult up. Managing to survive that whole exchange as we see Boobs with the Rude Bear.
That Rude Bear, Karma sitting at 10% HP, just drops it and probably is going to go down for it. But is he going to be able to take Noob? No.
Their micro was very strong, but it's not going to be enough to be able to pick off the Ahri. Just not enough damage in the game yet.
And Alistar got a spawn wave there, so he was able to get back up right in time. Or no, he went B, he didn't go down. Karma went down, she didn't catch a spawn wave. But top lane did actually go over to Clueless. It looks like Tree is mightier than the Yasuo.
Yasuo just utterly disrespecting the tree. He's very scared to be in the same lane as it, and he's not even really trading farm with it. If the Yasuo was getting farm out of them both being top, I would be fine, because he's the hard carry, but he's not. He doesn't have as much gold as the tree right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tree is very, very, very big.
Oh.
As he pokes his head out, the Maokai ult's not where it needs to be, and Boobs gets absolutely destroyed with minimal cooldown usage.
Yep, just completely taking down. The headbutt pulls are real into the Yasuo, taking everyone down. That wombo combo we were talking about earlier, you just saw in action.
Now 11-second death timers on everybody. We see Bibblepop wandering to the bottom lane trying to get in a gank. Noob is about to run for his life, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Factory is going to probably get papped before anybody gets there for this gank.
Yeah, mid is going to get neutralized. No Namer sticking around, opting to try to finish the cap. Is he going to be able to get it? He will actually finish it off.
Their entire team is there and at full HP. It's not time for anybody to base. They have a 4v3 and they should take it.
Yep, and
but No Namer gets absolutely chugged. The headbutt pull, but the Mantra Karma Q are hit, and Rage didn't want to initially go for it, but they get one. Will they all get out? The what? Yasuo misses.
Oh, the barrier. Ah, but still goes down. I still want to throw out the the Vi ended up trying to base next to the point, and a sapling ran over and blew her up. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, the Irelia and Nocturne gank did pay off. They were able to get that bot point. So now it looks like they're going to be finishing off this Ahri here, but they need to get out of there as fast as they can, because the rest of the team is coming right now.
It was a very fortunate rotation for Purple Team. Got absolutely flipped on his head, as it's going to end up for a 4 cap for Clueless.
Yep, they are going to be able to get that top lane back uncontested. Looks like Irelia is going to go down. Nocturne managing to stay alive. He does not have his ultimate up for this next fight. Oh, and here comes the Maokai in. On to the Vi and the Yasuo. Yasuo is going to use his Q to get out of that, and Vi might actually be able to get away. Is Blueberry going to... Oh, no, he just used the W.
Wolfer took a trip around the wrong corner, ends up going down. But Rages went back in, and he also got deleted. So just 1-for-1s everywhere, but Newbie3 is capping the bottom lane, and Wolfer is absent.
Yep, and he might actually be able to get this neutralized if Irelia... Oh, so close. Was right there, and Noob is going to back off of that. Bibblepop doing a very good job keeping that point safe for just that second there.
Unfortunately, Noob's itemization of a very, very early Athene's and Holy Grail does not give him enough damage to kill this Irelia. If he
No,
had opted
really.
for a more aggressive build of BFT, he might be able to take some of these 1v1 engagements against non-bot laners.
Yeah, I think he wanted to opt for that Athene so he could get that CDR and get that regen to help push against Nock and try to shove him under tower as much as possible. And up top there, Mukau looking to be in a very bad position, getting caught out 1v4.
You see Purple Team getting buried upon, and No-Namer deciding that he's going to charge his Wall Breaker, but will he get away? Seems like he will, but the swap comes on the Yasuo, and he goes, oh, that's Nocturne is all the way up at Speed Shrine, ready to assist his team, but they are just absolutely trucking forward.
And Karma, I don't know if you want to try to defend this, but Annie is here to close you in. She is going to drop the BFT, but I think she's going to go down before... Oh! It did manage to pop because the Mukau came in and said, no way. But they are going to be able to chase him off of here and get him pushed back. Vi and Yasuo coming in. The Yasuo ult is coming through. He's going to have that armor pen for this fight and be able to blow some people up, but the exhaust is too strong.
This is a 4 cap for Clueless right now. Coming on strong in the mid game. All their champions at level 11 get rank 2 and ults, get their first 2 abilities at rank 5, and their team just starts trucking along.
Yeah, that Urgot does have his pen ready to go, as well as Irelia having that Triforce, her major damage item. And
Doctor not coming in on the bot lane, however, they are trying to dive this Ahri. They are barely going to get her, but I believe they will be cleaned up very, very shortly.
The Yasuo and Karma are going to be able to finish off the tree here with ease, and Nocturne's going to be able to get it out of that scot-free.
Now, what Purple Team has to do right now is they are severely lacking base damages to fight the opposing team. They need to get a couple more resist items, and just need more items in their inventory to be able to fight right now. To see Alistar ult, he gets a very, very good pull again, and as No-Namer comes in with his Bolt Breaker.
Yeah,
they managed to...
This is going to be a full 5v5 right now. Actually, the Yasuo coming through, just not enough to pick up the rest of the kills there.
I do believe Purple Team blew at least 2, now 3 revives as Yasuo comes back alive as well. And that exchange, they managed to win the fight as Boobs is, waiting in the brush. Will he get caught? He got punched. Blue Woo Blitz, now I believe he is absolutely trapped. Charm comes through and he goes down. But Hafe is being a man. The backup of Wolfero on his team. It doesn't seem like Purple Team is going to be able to get an objective.
He is Urgotting as strong as he can right now. That damage output is just silly. And Yasuo trying to fight the tree down here, learning that it is not the easiest thing to do. And he is probably going to want to back out of that really fast.
I'm surprised Regis has not opted to get a Negatron cloak, as this tree has just been the bane of his existence, and you need a little bit of defenses to go on top of that shield to be able to fight most things with Yasuo, as we see Wolper coming down here. Spell shields the Steel Tempest, but new V3 is coming to back him up. Ariel being close.
The charm lands perfectly. Oh, very nicely done. Able to polish that off. Nocturne is going to try to go B, and he will make it out. And looks like Blueberry coming onto the Vi here.
1v1s everywhere, but Parkhurst blows his revive. He says, I don't like 1v1s, I like better odds. 2v1. Managed to catch the Vi. Vi turns back onto the Annie. Will she be able to get it? No, Bear's being dropped. Meanwhile, Urgot and Irelia are chasing down the cow, and the cow goes down, but the Yasuo says, I have issues with this. Blows his ult and gets his Q, and the cleanup is done. We are left with a 2v2.
That Karma damage is silly. Just popped that Urgot, and then Yasuo came in and cleaned up Irelia like it was nothing.
Flip a pop, blue revive to cover bottom lane for Wolfer, who's playing an ult in the top, making it another 3v2.
Oh man, that Wolfer ult from bot was so strong right there. Able to clean up the rest of the fight. Very nicely done, and then Irelia is going to be able to hold bot lane pretty easily against this Ahri here.
Lulu's just having very, very good map rotations that they normally do with Wolfer, being able to cover multiple places with the power of their death timers. As we see the fear coming in, the tree lives a little bit longer. Vi all being blurred. Exhaust. The Vi shield comes back up. The Nocturne goes down.
That passive along with the cow heals were just too much, and then that exhaust just to add some insult to injury there. And actually, Baby Pop doing some work on this Ahri. Man.
Irelia, one of those champions who is very, very, very good against Ahri, and the Ahri has opted to not get the most overpowered item for APs in the game, BFT.
Yeah,
And
that
see
BFT
what
would have
happens
helped.
when he wins without it. It's really, I would call it a not optional item for every AP that's trying to do damage in the game.
And it actually looks like, oh man, Urgot got caught out a little bit in the jungle. Blueberry wanted to follow in with that Annie and actually ended up costing both of them their lives. So they will be hitting those respawn timers there, while top lane might actually get neutralized. There's a lot of minions here to help.
While purple team gets top lane, bot lane's being ganked, and it looks like No Namer's going to go down without question.
Yep, they're going to very easily blow him up and get this bot. So top is under control of red team right now, and bot as well as Quest is about to go. That is going to chunk 20 HP off of the Nexus right now. Oh, that is going to hurt so much.
We have a Parker's making sure he's stalling everybody's recalls.
Yeah, he's
He
trying
got
to keep
gave
him
his
back.
team about a good 15 seconds to come out of the base, which is enough time for them to be able to get back to bot lane. You see Bibimpop with a nice stun on Afro. Afro's going to go down immediately. Newbie3 just throwing an orb of deception out to try to get some damage. No Namer walking into the tree into 3 people. They look at each other funny and they decide to back off. Noob coming in from the top, charm on the Maokai. Wind wall being trying to blow it on Blueberry. Blueberry steps around and gets Timbers to go through it. He is the focus target for purple team, while Bibimpop gets knocked every single direction by Vi and Yasuo. Wooper looks like he's going to go down as well. The cow is going to go down to Hafe up top, so he will be able to get a neutral if he stops killing the minions and goes and caps, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter, and Clueless is going to come out victorious.
And that bot lane isn't going to be recapped in time, and that is going to be GG. Very nice victory by Clueless there. Able to keep it going, and with those rotations from Nocturne, that is still just a strong strategy. I have yet to see very many teams actually win against that.
Well, it's very efficient map usage. If you put a global in the bottom lane, he has very, very strong presence against very squishy champions. If you see, he comes off the map, the Ahri didn't know if the Nocturne might blow ult on her, or if he's going to go top lane, so she's really scared. She doesn't have the power to 1v1 that Nocturne with the build that she decided to opt for. So there's nothing that she can really do. It's a catch-22 where you lose in all situations. And with somebody coming up off a death timer or with revive, there's not much as a bot laner you're going to be able, unless you also go roll against the Nocturne.
Yeah, he tried to. You try to push onto it, and then they time the death timer so perfectly that someone else is already there to cover the bot lane. So what you really have to do is be able to roam up with him or know when he's going to roam up. But let's take a look at damage dealt for that game here. And it looks like that Urgot could be sitting at the top. The very nice 2700 there. And then followed by, looks like Karma. That Karma damage just being so silly with those AoE mantra Qs.
Karma got off a decent amount of Mantra Qs that game, however, it's just Karma as a champion doesn't pull enough damage without a real ultimate as somebody like Annie, who throws tippers down every fight. She has very, very good utility with her shields, but they weren't being put to the best of use by the Vi and the Yasuo that game. They didn't have enough defenses to compound onto the shields to actually have them survive in the high damage of Clueless's comp.
Yeah, it was just so much damage coming out, and then, the Maokai, he got that Athene's, and then he went for the Abyssal, the Sunfire, and the Sork Boots. So he's sitting on a lot of Magic Pen with that Sunfire cape, and that is going to be just dealing all of its damage to everything standing around him.
He has 35 flat penetration with that build, and then has 20 more MR reduction. So he's doing true damage to anything without magic resist. We did see the Vi opt for early Merc Chest. He got a Hex Drinker midway through the game, but that Yasuo was taking true damage from that Maokai, and that was a real problem before he picked up his Megatron.
Yeah, that's going to hurt quite a bit. All right. Well, for those of you in chat, if you have any questions for us or anything about Dominion that you want to ask, feel free to ask it right now. We have a little bit of downtime before we get to our next match and before we cut to commercial. Let me actually see if our brackets have been updated so we can see which semifinal match we are going to be casting for you guys. As soon as my bracket page refreshes.
I do believe the best semifinals match to cast when it is available will be Benchwarmers versus Farming Group Simulator 2.
I think it's 2004, but it's kind of blocked off on the brackets there. Bracket couldn't fit the entire name. But yeah, that might actually be a good one. So we will probably go with Benchwarmers and Farming Group Simulator. So we will get that get that match for you guys.
Blooters, at Blooters. Is Yasuo OP on Dominion? Yasuo is a very, very strong pick on Dominion. After his recent nerfs, he's still A tier, but he's not S tier when he originally came out. He is definitely a very strong pick, and you can supplement that strong pick with a team comp that works with him, and that makes him very, very strong in a competitive setting.
Yeah, you have to remember that Yasuo was really powerful when he was first released, and Riot said, okay, I think we messed that up a little bit, and they decided to tone him down. So once they toned him down a bit, he's a bit more manageable. He's not that OP, crazy, hard scaling that he used to have, but he's still very, very strong in that late game. All right, so I think we will get over to our commercial here, and we will get our next game rocking for you guys in just a minute.